What's up, guys? Hold on one. Okay. Hold on, let me fix this here. What's up, guys? It's Rick and we're on the YouTube XLeads channel. We're talking all about AI today. Sorry, it's running a little bit behind, but we are here. So a lot of you are tuning in to find out what's going on. The hell is he talking about with the AI? And what I want to do is, before we get into anything with version 4, which is coming out on Monday, on January 12th, is I want to show you the AI that you already have in your XLeads account, because number one, you're going to have to get very familiar with it, especially with version 4 coming out. And I'm going to show you a big piece of the puzzle that will drastically help you when the release comes out. Because I'm finding out a lot of you guys don't even use this part. It's actually pretty powerful. Remember, AI is about making you faster, about making you smarter, and about helping you trim the fat down, and so you don't waste time on people who want to sell a house. And that's the whole point of it. So I'm Rick, and I've been wholesaling 24 years, and I love wholesaling. So if you have a question, do me a favor, just put it in the comment. I'll do my best to get to it. And if you just signed up for XLeads or anything like that, use this channel. All you have to do is go in there and search under the XLeads and put in, if you want to learn how to do skip trace, you want to learn how to pull list, you want to learn how to do a high equity list, you want to learn how to use the e-sign feature, you want to learn how to do the AI and the go high level follow-up. Guys, you want to learn how to do dispositions. It's all in there. As I said, it's the only all-in-one wholesaling software that you can get out there. So that being said, make a friend in here. And yeah, I'm happy where Miami is, but I'm a little nervous about playing Indiana. But anyways, I'm not here today. We're here to talk about wholesaling. So what I'm going to do is kind of walk through, and I want to explain to you one of the predictors already built in there that is a huge part of our equation. So what I would like to do is go ahead and screen share with you and walk you through one of the best ways to do this. So let me move over here and get all these screens off. Let's see. Let me pull this up. It's coming. Okay, awesome. Okay, guys, let me walk you through what's up. I appreciate you guys hopping on here. You have better things to do on a Saturday, but you guys are the reason why we do these Saturdays is because it's important that we connect with our base and let them know what's going on. And as long as I'm part of this company, we'll always find a way to connect with you. Too many people hide behind their companies. Okay, let's do a share here. Nope, that's the wrong one. Let's see. Screen share. Okay, here we go. So guys, you should be able to see my screen here. You sign in your XLeads account, and then all you got to do is go over here and click on your leads tab, because that's what we're going to focus on today. So what I would like to do is, somebody wants to pick a city, and let's do some reverse engineering. Who needs some help pulling a list? I want to show you specifically, it's not that we need to, it doesn't matter if it's vacant or high equity. We can pick some random list here. But what I want to do is pick a market, and I want to show you predictability. And maybe if somebody has a failed wholesale deal that they're done with, if you want to learn the lessons, I like to use AI to go in and look at my deals that failed, so I can identify traits to help me warn about properties like this in the future. And so if you've got a failed address, I mean failed and you're done with it, you can put it in the comments and I'll use it as a sample. And maybe I'll kind of be like a shrink that analyzes a wholesale property, and I'll tell you, I will show you the problem before it hit. But we don't have to do that. I do that all the time because it's actually one of the ways we teach, and it's how you teach yourself. And the reality is, when you do that, That's actually what AI is going to do like a million times faster than what you can do. So we can do it by hand. So you guys are doing entire states. Let's get it down. If someone gives me a county, the first county we can do on there, I'd rather do a county or a zip code. So the first county, a zip code put in, we'll pull it on there and I'll kind of walk you through it. So I got Richland County, South Carolina. Perfect. I got Big Mike. I've done Fulton County so many times. Okay. Richland County. Let's go. I appreciate it. Let me get that off the screen. Okay. Let me hop into that one. Make sure I got the right thing. Okay. So what I'm going to do is go on here is I'm going to look this up. This mic out of my face. Richland. And that was South Carolina. There it is right there. So we're going to click on that box. And let's go over to filters. I like to go over to filters and see what I'm dealing with. And we fill in all this stuff without getting into like massive filters. I mean, 61,000 high equity. I mean, this is a decent market. So what I'm going to do is click zombie properties. If you guys ever want to know what zombie properties, it is just not a secret stack list. It's in there. These are properties in foreclosure and also vacant. So I'm going to do it just for the highest success rate we can. It says 31 here. And let's pull up the results on 31. Bingo. So we have all these. And so listen, we are not picking a random market. I'm picking Mike's market here. And the idea is I like nice, tight niche lists, but you can expand on this any way you want. So if we look at this property, I mean, that has a lot of tags going on. A lot of things going on in these properties. Most of them have like ridiculous amount of tags. Active investor owned, pre-foreclosure, so they're all in foreclosure and they're vacant. So now look at this one. So on the bottom here, just so you know, as we get better and better with XLeads, we give you as much information as we possibly can. And let's just click on this one. Got to hide phone numbers on you. I mean, this is our perfect type of property. Look at all this here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down and look right off the bat. And what we are looking at are sellability scores. And I really want to explain this to you because this is where the future of all list pulling is going. So we've always had 3 different scores here. Retail, which is basically the odds of it selling for a full market price, 90 to 100 days, likely to be sold to a landlord, and a wholesale score means it'll sell it at a deep discount. Now, here's the really cool part. These numbers you see on your screen go from basically 0 to 1,000. Remember, the higher the number, the better. That's how all AI algorithms will work and predictability specifically in XLeads. So when I just take a quick look at this, I see a retail score of 500. I mean, there's 5s across the board. And 500, in my opinion, is your baseline number. I wouldn't even sniff a deal and look at it below 500 because, remember, this is an algorithm of doing the best calculation. Now, what I want you to focus on right here is, I mean, you look at these scores, I've always used the wholesale score. And what I'd like you to do is go in and do your calculations and figure this out. I like to do wholesale scores of 700 or higher. Honestly, 850 is phenomenal. Why? Because it's going to show indications. Now, why are these numbers so low? I really don't know. I have to dig into it. But the idea is I don't have to dig into every property. If I'm running a list of, say, 5 or 10,000, we're going to go in and do the scores. And this right here gives you the likelihood of scenarios. And I would think the rental score would be higher on this one just based on the photos alone, but it's not. Now, if I want to go in and use another level of AI, I'm going to go in here and click, And I'm going to see if it's going to find me a story. Now, I don't want you like digging through every lead. That's a waste of time. I would go with the leads, set your criteria, and those are the ones you're going to work with on heavy ones. So it says here, strong distress and motivation, pre-foreclosure, vacancy, zombie, high equity potential, but it's penalizing it for a recent sales. Despite recent sales, current estimated condition as is, needs a little bit of love. It's perfect. So, but there's a reason why it's going to give it a low number. And this is what we're going to talk about. When we come to the sellability score, if I had, say, 100 properties, I can now take a list and rank them on a sellability score. It's important you know this because we're making a pivotal shift on Monday that is going to be absolutely insane. That makes this score, in my opinion, 1,000 times more valuable. But you've got to understand how the basis of it works, because a lot of you don't even use this feature and understand. Let's go back and I will show you. Let me get out of this. Let me go back to the results and I'll show you. So let's pick another random property, just kind of show you. So by the way, you can sit here and if you want to go by your AI score by wholesale, watch this. I have a list of 31. This is just a simple technique. We use this in our business right now. And you can do it from lowest to highest, whatever you need. Let's see. Ascending, descending. I never know the difference. I always forget. I mean, let's take a look at this one. That one looks really rough. And if I go down here, once again, that's a little bit better. But the guys, the sellability score, I mean, that's below 500. I might take it off my list. What I'm telling you is you can use AI just to basically eliminate a lot of crap right off the bat. And the sellability score, just so you guys understand, is based pretty much on the sellers, any type of financial trigger. And it's a very complicated algorithm, but I'm here to tell you, if I go under this AI, I can analyze it. I don't want you to do this part, like where you just click every one, because curiosity is going to kill you and you're not going to be efficient. So what we're going to be able to do is I want you, so it tells you the typical things we do there. Off market tagged as vacancy, $152,000 below value. So here's the challenge. Here's how it's getting penalized. At some point, it was listed withdrawn. There hasn't been a lot of activity since then. And remember, XLeads, if you're in like especially non-disclosure states, this is going to give you predictability on the seller score and actually give you numbers on it. Let's try one more, and we'll do some other markets and kind of show you. Let's do one without a picture, just out of curiosity. So like a lot of these are just average numbers. Now, I don't want you to panic. Go, Rick, everyone you're pulling is kind of the same, because the idea is the monsters are going to jump out at you. So when it's a really, really high wholesale score, like let me do the other way. Maybe I did. Do you guys see that? So I did the opposite order. Look at this, 834, 664, which is well above our thing is. You guys got to start looking at your list and look at these scores. And if you look under this tab here, it'll tell you, it tells you exactly what it is, the probability. Remember, it is statistical data. And up to this point, guys, it's a score from 0 to 1,000. Higher to 500 is what we do, like the bare minimum. A score of 0 means you're just wasting your time. And honestly, 500 and below, like we are guessing and we know it. Once you get above 500 and exponentially higher, you can do a ratio between the retail and the wholesale score. And notice this rental score is very high. We can now start combining this data. We make list stacking seem like a joke once you start doing the scoring. Now, remember, it's here as a tool to get to people faster and get data going. It's not going to replace you doing the deals. And so let me come back over here real quick. I'm logging in fine on my XLeads. I have like no problem on it. So I don't know if it's just isolated. So the guys, the understanding is you need to understand how a sellability score works, because when we come out Monday, that's just going to be one small factor in how we go forward. Does everybody understand that? A sellability score is you can go through and rank them. We're going to do another county. I would love for someone to give me a zip code, and then we can get kind of granular on this. If you want, I'll send you a list. I don't care. Or you can do it in your own XLeads account. And I want to show you today, we're talking about sellability scores and AI predictability scores, because this is going to be an integral part of what we're doing. So 76209. Let's do this one more time. Let me go back, add this to the screen, and let's go. Okay. 76209. I think 76209. Yell at me if it's wrong. And so let's change our filters here. I have no idea where 76209 is, but there is not a lot available there. Oh, it's because I got the zombies. Okay. There we go. So let's just do let's do a vacancy. Why not? 178 matches perfectly. And so once again, I did this on wholesale score, and it's in descending order. I always mix that up. Maybe it's the ADHD in me, but we have ascending and descending. Now, I'm not a big fan of like on market. You can filter that out in your XLeads account, but I'm just showing this for example. So I have one here, delinquent tax, vacancy, just a host of problems on this one. And so I'm going to pull it up here. And these are better numbers, but this will give you an idea. If you guys ever want to go through your filters, let's go back and pull another one. Let's even pull this on market one, because I find this crazy that realtors, that looks like quite a project there. So that's a pending one. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, but look at this rental score, 970. And there's no recent sales, but it's still above 641. So there's definitely potential when you do these. Let's just pick another random one here. Let's do one without a picture, but this one looks like it's got a lot going on. This is an active listing. So you guys can sort all this out in 673. Why is not pulling up a retail score? There could be an issue. I don't know what market this is. I got to go back. What is that? That's Denton. Where am I? I got to back out. I know I got to be up north. Oh, Texas. Okay. So, but you guys, you could rank anything based on, you can do it on the rental score, anything like that. But the reason why I'm showing you this is I want you to understand is you have to understand the predictability part, because everything going forward is going to be predicated. And I'm going to tell you, I believe we're going to eventually get to a point where we don't pull lists like the old Rick used to do on traditional. And what we're going to do is morph XLeads into AI to be able to pull lists for you, because all these filter settings and stuff we do, we have to automate some of this. I want to be quicker, but guys, you have to understand the fundamentals. It's kind of think about like football. When you're in Pop Warner and stuff like that, you have to learn basic blocking and tackling, and you have to understand what a list is, what are prospects, what are leads, and you have to understand how many you need. And if you don't understand that part, the AI is not even going to work for you. But once you understand that, then you can use AI to make you much more efficient, and it can hunt, and it can do searches that would literally take you weeks, if not months, if not a year. And that's what I want to tell you going into it. So this should work on vacant land as well. Remember, vacant land has less data, so it does have, you do have a more of a tactical advantage, in my opinion, because most people are guessing when they list land because there's very little data on it. And that's how I started out wholesaling. We didn't have Zillow and all this other stuff. It was easier in that fashion, but it was harder because nobody knew what to do. And you had to spend money, a lot of money to figure out what worked and most importantly, what didn't work. So, so let's go back here. Someone's asking about MAO and stuff. And so let's do an example on this one. So if I pull up, say, deceased probate, I'm going to pull up this. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. This one's, it's not great in there, but someone's asking about an MAO. So this property in a good standing should sell probably 165, maybe 168. And a wholesale score is 108, 109. So the thing is, so many of you guys want to know what like the MAO is. Like, honestly, you just got to use some common sense. If I know the retail is 167, I'm probably going to offer 100 at best on this. Why? Because I expect to get a no on the first offer, and then I get a counter, and then I have a number to work with. But a lot of you guys try to cheat with MAO, and you want to get a yes right off the bat, and you overpay for a lot of these properties. So I go in, I don't spend any energy. I see 165, 160, 165 is probably what it's worth. I ask the seller what kind of condition it is. They go in, I needs 10, 15 worth of repairs. I mean, I'm not going to be an inch over 100 on this. And then if you want to get more granular, if you click the AI button here, I'm trying to teach you how to do the LAO because the MAO is going to get you in trouble every time. The MAO is your stop point, not your start. Now, right here, it agrees with me. It's saying you should probably be in the low hundreds when you do it. So it had light repairs. Your MAO would be 120, medium would be 113, and heavy is 104. This is why I just told you. See the common sense? I just offer 100. Why? Because it's simple, it's clean, and I don't expect them to take 100. But if they did, I say yes. And if they go, no, I need 125, and you go, okay, let's look at the conditions. If you'll put a new roof on it, I might be able to do 115, something like that. So guys, do not hang on MAO because it gets most of you in extreme trouble. Because most of you think by offering the MAO up front, you can get to a yes faster. In fact, it will frustrate you. And often you're going to overpay for the property. Remember, wholesaling is the art of buying low and selling medium. So the last thing I always tell you guys, you want to be in charge of deriving your own leads. Because these days of like PPL, like it's a wish list, guys. It is a wish list. And what people want to tell you PPL is you have to spend a ton of money and you have a lot of exposure with it. So we'll keep putting your questions in there. We're going to do a Q&A. Let me get back and let's go over what do I want to do here? So let's do this, guys. I want you to understand. Let me go back into the XLeads here. And let me pull this up. Let's go back. Now, here's another part I want to show you. Hey, Rick, how do I set the filters based on the sellability scores? You can click this right here and it'll bring it to you. Or you can just go down to sellability score part. I'll take that off there. And so if I wanted to set like well, I'm on my demo account. I don't have it set on here. Okay. So that reminds me. So here's how your sellability score works. Most of you, if you have a basic account, you have one zip code and it's provided with your account. And we tell you to figure it out and make that part work. With some of you guys with the Pro plan and the X plan, you get a lot more zip codes. So let me go in here and let me put in one of my zip codes, which this is one of my markets. So if you guys want to compete with me, knock yourself out. I'm so used to it. So when I go down here on sellability score, I can set like a minimum of say 700 period. And then I'm going to do I like to set at least a minimum of 550. Obviously, the higher the score, the better. So I did this one on, where did I do this one? This is on a vacancy. So let's run. So this is one zip code. Let's do the vacancy. Yeah, why not? Let's do a vacancy. So let's see the results. So now it's only given me based on those numbers. And look at this one. We hit the jackpot, 1,000. Now, I want you to look at how many tags are going on here. It's ridiculous. And this is part of the algorithm scoring, letting you know it has a high probability. So I'm just curious. I'm going to click the button. I don't want you guys doing this for every property, but this is how you can kind of learn how XLeads is doing the AI evaluation on it, so you can figure it on here. So extreme distress, absentee board owner. So it's flagged as an absentee owner, deep discount opportunity, and short sale potential. I don't like that. But although the property is severely upside down, $2 million in loans, it's, even though the number came up high, it's probably not going to work. But the bottom line is I can sit here and I can take a list now. And if I go back to my filters, say I wanted to, this is just one zip code, but let's just take, absentee owners, just out of curiosity. Now let's do board investors. These are people that own rental properties for a long time without. And so what I can do on those is I can do a rental score. Now I did put filter criteria on it, which I've got to remove. Let's see here. I don't know, it reset for me. But if we go back, let me go back to my results. Let's look at the rental. This is a 997. And so this is the jackpot right here, 997, 951. I'm not overly worried about this. So remember, the one to the left, the retail score, is the probability, the likelihood of the seller selling in the next 90 to 180 days. The higher that number, the better. These are going to talk about the distress. This thing, it just screams it's a rental property. And why is that important to me? Because I know when I buy this property, either I'm going to keep it for myself for a rental. Maybe I'm selfish. Maybe I want to build net worth. Or I know the probability is I'm going to have to target a landlord on my cash buyers list. And it's critical you know that beforehand, because if you try to sell this property retail, you're probably going to be wasting your time. Now, if I go into the AI and I just look here, which I keep telling you not to do, but I'm just curious because it's such a big number. Let's see what's going on with it. So, and then this one's telling you this property is upside down, which isn't going to make a great deal. So people overbuy these properties all the time, but I'm just telling you is I want you to understand the sellability score. And the reason this one's low is because it's upside down. So it's not this would not come up on your high equity list, but it's good to know. So let me pull this up. Let's take this off the screen. Okay, so I want you to understand this, guys. You've got to understand how these scoring works. So the sellability score, the way it shows right now, and change on Monday, is the likelihood of the seller selling the property. Now, what I want to do is go over the events. So the thing is, we always ask our sellers is if they want to sell their house for cash. Hey, I want to sell my house for cash, right? That's predominantly what we want to know from them. And the thing is, we use all these filters, all this technology to try to answer that question before we even ask it. And this is where I'm going with the AI in the future on this. You've got to understand is, what if we could get that question answered for you before you even talk to the seller? Would that save you? What if we can take your list? So on average, if we take a high equity list, it takes about 10,000 leads to even have a shot at one. With the new version 4 coming out, we can take that list and cut it down to like at least half, 3,000 to 4,000. That's how good this technology is. And why that's important is because now you can shift and focus on people that need to sell, and you can start to filter out the want to sells much, much sooner without doing that manual thing where you're calling, you're texting them, you're emailing them, and it's exhausting. And that's the part that takes out most wholesalers. Now, a lazy wholesaler go, oh, I'll just do PPL and I'll solve all my problems. Good luck. You're going to need hundreds of thousands of dollars to fund that part of the operation. And you're going to have to be really good at talking to sellers. And most people that even have any of the slightest success in PPL, they're very talented at closing people. But what they won't tell you is they're okay to spend $5,000 to $10,000 a month on PPL leads. And remember, the more people that go into PPL, the more it's going to drive the price up. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy of getting screwed in wholesaling. There's just no other way to do it. So if we understand that, if we know, if I could say, hey, Mr. Seller, will you sell me a house for cash? We know there has to be a list of events that are going to happen. So this is where I want to give you like the really cool part of it. A sellability score on the seller is now going to basically predict the likelihood based on a ridiculous amount of factors that if you and me had to scrub and do, it would take us months, if not years, to do it. And here's the best part. It'll all be included in your XLeads account. You got to make sure you got it one by the 12th. So let's go through it. If there's a change of address. So here's the problem is a lot of times, any type of AI right now that I work, ChatGPT and stuff like that, they just look at the static things that trigger the probability of them selling a wholesale deal. So let's do, guys, put in the comments, what do you think is a basic static point that always makes it a suspect? And you don't have to overthink this. Just think about the list you pull right now. So if I go up here, watch this. If I go here and I go into the filter section, all these right here, guys, I mean, this is really handy. Don't get me wrong. But like right here, these are what we call your static points. Absentee owner, we've identified them because they have a different mailing address, right? Any computer program can pull that. It's very straightforward. Board investor means they own a lot of property and there's been no deed changes for a long period of time. They usually get very bored with it. A flipped property's recently been sold. A high equity property is basically set on your filters is a certain percentage of equity in the property. We always try to target 50% or more. 40 is your bottom line. Potentially inherited. This is triggered by a deed change. And when that deed change happens, that means it comes out of probate and then goes into the new heir's name. And to be honest with you, I rather do it beforehand, but like this is a catch-all list. If you buy this list, it's $300 to $500 a month per city or county. That's nuts. And then the vacancy, we have a vacancy one on here, and we'll go from there. Hold on one second, guys. Hold on one second. Okay. So a vacancy is a property that's been identified by the United States Postal Service. That is a static trigger. Cash buyer means they own it for cash. There's no mortgage. That is a static trigger. So all these are like an inflection in time and it has to happen. So what I want to ask you is, what if AI could go in here and tell you about a combination of factors that will lead to a foreclosure that are likely going to be a foreclosure? What do I mean is we can't find foreclosures until they actually file a court docket. And I want you to understand this. I got to get your attention here. Is if we understand that, what if we get into the predictability? So let me give you an example. A foreclosure happens, right? Say a foreclosure is all the way over here. And we only pull lists based on when the foreclosure is pulled. What if I can tell you we have the ability through AI, specifically XLeads, to find all the factors that typically predicate a foreclosure? And here's the best part is a lot of these events build up 3, 5, 7, even 10 years. Now, if I only pull the list when it's at foreclosure, how can I get indicators that show me before it's even pre-foreclosure? Because I've always told you the sooner you can help a seller, the more options the seller has, you have, and your cash buyer. So let me ask you this. Has anybody tried to buy a property that's going to auction next week? It sucks. It's the worst. There's usually no money in it. You have to involve lawyers. You have to take massive risk, and it's real problematic. And if we could do some predictability beforehand, but now AI's been out long enough, now we can start to do predictability factors. Let me give you an example. Foreclosures, on average, have a series of events that we've identified through data that typically lead up to foreclosure. Now, some of the stuff I can't tell you exactly where the data is pulled because it's expensive, but what if we can pull do you know people's way back in the day, long time ago, 20 years plus ago, I used to be able to go and read people's credit. And honestly, it was one of the greatest gifts. Now, it was super, super expensive. I had to use a third-party company. And they would give predictability solely based on people's credit and how often they bought real estate. And I'm thinking, God, I was already in the future back in, what was it, 2006, 7. That's when we were doing it. But you can't do it. It's basically, it's forbidden. Like I can't pull people's credit and stuff like that. So we used to call it credit profiling. And it's technically, I don't believe it's legal anymore. So if it worked back then, we already know credit profiling works. So what the algorithm does through AI is they're going to look at all the factors statistically. So if there's 100,000 foreclosures in the United States, this data is run over and over. And every time their credit's hit for this, there's this, that, it creates a predictability factor. And humans are predictable. That's just who we are. We kind of know what we're doing. Every now and then we go off course. But so what if there was a change of address? What if a deed got a quick claim done on it? What if there was a probate open? What if there was a lien filing? What if there was a notice of default? What if a credit alert come out? What if they, check this out, what if they get behind on their auto loan? What happens if their credit card gets run up and there's another filing for a lien? Guys, all those things. Oh, and what happens when they stop paying their property taxes? You take all those factors, I can really help people out. Now, remember, our job is to help people help themselves get out of their own way. You have to help sellers get out of their own way. Because listen, when you're behind on your credit card, your car's about to be repoed, they filed a foreclosure on your house, and you haven't paid your property tax, and you're 6 months behind on your mortgage, you can tell me you're fine. But I know the data tells me otherwise. And that's what we want to use AI predictability. So to this point, I'm going to tell you exactly how it works, is we're going to take that sellability score we just showed you. Let me put it back up here. When we go back through this, and let me go back and hit my results on this one. When we do this one, oh my God, look at that, 1,000. That's awesome. I know someone's going to call, so it's always used to it. This sellability score is now, we are going to interject all those criteria I said. I believe we have 15. It's absolutely nuts. We're going to share it on Monday, but we're looking at all the predictability factors beforehand. So as of now, we've only been looking at a few, and we've been testing data out the last year and a half. And we think we finally cracked the code to at least prioritize who has the best probability. So check this out, guys. When you pull a list, you can rank your list from top to bottom. God, I wish I had this when I started. Why is that so valuable? If I have if I've narrowed a list down to say 500, maybe you got a niche list and say, listen, I say it's 1,000 and go, man, I only have the ability to contact like 200 people today. I need a deal. I'm going after the first 200. Still, guys, do the entire list, but it gives you odds and probability and makes it a little bit better. And it gives you some predictability and it'll tell you who needs help now the fastest. Now, listen, I don't want to catch them at the end of the foreclosure. I hate those deals because those people are in complete denial. It's actually a place, not a river. And there's only so much I can do. If they don't want to work me and basically string me out to the last day of the option, then I'm not going to stress myself out to try to make $2,000 or $3,000 and take massive risk. But this sellability score, we're now changing it. We're going to insert, I believe, 15 different predictability factors: change of address, change of deed, multiple credit things. You can't go on one credit thing, but when they get behind on their credit card, they get behind on their auto, they get behind on paying their property tax, which now we can figure this out. Maybe there's a legal filing for a separation or something like this. This is all going to culminate. Now, realtors haven't figured this out yet. I think it's just kind of funny. They're so off on the AI, but the predictability. And then, guys, so we're going to insert that there. That's number one. Number two, the rental score will get better because we have more data points. And then the wholesale score will incorporate a lot of what the retail is, but the wholesale score really focuses a lot on the property, which I'm going to talk about at the end. I'm going to answer some questions, and then I'm going to add the unbelievable factor that's going to be added. So if this isn't good enough for you now with everything else we do on it, I want you to understand, what if we took an algorithm, check this out, and combined all three and gave you a 1 score? Now, there's some issues with that, and we're playing around with it. But we're just, if I had a list of 10,000, I can rank them from like 1 to 10,000 now. That doesn't mean you just call the top 5. It doesn't work that way. But the idea is, if I'm going to create, this is the list, I'm gonna like swing my bat at it, and maybe I get the lower list to one of my like newer employees. We do a lot of that too. But it doesn't matter how you do it. You just got to understand how this works, because I'm about to add the next factor. We're going to do this for you. And guys, remember, the sooner you can catch someone, this is the ability of AI is, I'm trying to get you to the front of the line while every other wholesaler is back over here. Oh, let me wait till the foreclosure list file. What if I can give you all the predicators of statistically what happens in profile? Guys, it's just data. All it is data. Now, I wish ChatGPT could do it, but it doesn't have access to all this data. So I'm sure other companies will do it, but I'm just telling you, XLeads is the first and foremost to do this. And we're going to have to go through a learning curve, but it's going to be a lot of fun doing these lists. Now, I'm going to add one more factor here. We're going to go through some questions. This gets crazy. Ready? So let's add the additional factor. So we've already talked about the sellability score, right? If you guys tune in Monday, if that was not enough for you, everything else we do at XLeads, we are now going to add basically what we call a property score. Now, I can't go into every detail here, but now you're going to have a seller score, which is based on all these moving dynamic pieces that build up to somebody selling a wholesale. And other than that is like, so let's take an example. And that to me is powerful. Remember, you always have I always teach you the fundamentals of wholesaling, right? So if you understand, either a seller's motivated, a property's motivated. A seller's motivated, why? By financial triggers. I got foreclosure, I got probate, I didn't pay my taxes, I'm on code violations. The other one is the property's motivated, which means there's deferred maintenance. No one's put any money into the property. By the way, we can look at permits. When was the roof last updated? Think about this, guys. Any type of upgrades or permits pulled is now going to go into the factor. So we already have a seller's score. What if we add a property score? Oh my God, this is the fundamentals Rick's always taught us. Motivated property, motivated seller. Let me ask you in the comments, which is more likely when you come across a deal in wholesaling? Is the property motivated or the seller motivated? Often, what is the number one way we find deals? Think about what you do with your own eyes. Like driving for dollars. What do you guys do? You go out and you find ugly properties. That is a great indicator. What if you had the sellability score and a property score? So here's the truth of it. Taylor says it's the seller that's most, no, I've done this 24 years. 7 out of 10 times, the property is motivated. 7 out of 10 times. You get a property that's just run down, boarded up windows, and the seller's like, no, I'm fine. I need full retail for it. And that's the part that drives me nuts. And so those people you have to wait out. They're definitely worth putting in your follow-up. But we have property score and we're going to have seller score. Okay, Rick, how on earth are you going to do a property score without physically seeing it? We are just going to divide the algorithm for, we already have the sellability score, and I told you all the stuff we're going to pour into it. And then we're going to take the property score. That's going to incorporate liens, any type of permits pulled on the property, any type of, any information we get from the city or the county that's tagged for a lien or a code of violation or a magistrate hearing. You'd be shocked. But this part gets better. Okay, Rick, that's awesome. But how are we going to visit? If you're selling me driving for dollars is the best way to do it, oh boy, what if we could put our eyes on the property without ever leaving our home or office? How are you going to do that? You're going to have to tune in Monday because I'm going to show you exactly how we do it. I'm going to give you every data point I can on a property from the seller themselves, and we're going to do predictability data with AI, and then we're going to do a property score. And for the first time, you're really going to be able to evaluate a property from head to toe. All the data, it's absolutely nuts. And guys, you can't do this in ChatGPT. There's sections you can do, but like ChatGPT does not have access to all this data. You have to pay for it. And there is a cost for us to do this. Now, some of you guys right now are using services where you go, okay, I just use there's very good companies out there that have it. But here's the problem is most of your virtual driving for dollars apps, what are they based on? Put in the comments, what are most driving for dollars right now on the market? What is the service they use to pull a visual on a property? Put it in the comments. What do you think? They're the biggest player, one of the biggest players in the world. Where do they get all these pictures from? You guys see them driving around your neighborhood all the time. Let me know. There you go. Google it is. And here, I don't know about you, but go ahead and pull up the house you live in right now. And I have a house right now that I've built. I've sold everything. It's been 5 years. And I looked at the Google image last night and it's still just a pile of dirt. It's 5 years behind. And so what does that mean? It's very unpredictable throughout the entire country. The easiest thing means I could do is just go to a Google product, although you're not allowed to cache it, so I don't know how they do it. And I could just take that static image. And the problem is you have no idea if it's 6 months old or 6 years old. And so how do you imagine? You also, Google owns their data. You got to pay for it. On average, guys, if you did just a county, we did an example. So if you have a county with a population of 100,000 and say you want to use one of these services, if you want to use one of the services on 100,000 and they charge about 2 cents, which I don't blame them. They got to pay for it. Just that one county, no, 100,000 times 0.02. That one county would cost you $2,000 and you're getting old, crappy data. And I'm just here to tell you is we're going to change that all for you. Now, the cool part is we are launching a beta version of this. Why? Because it is an enormous task to get every property scanned in the United States. So we started out with the big metro areas. we're going to share on how. I'm not going to go on the details because it takes the surprise off, but we are not going to be using Google Maps. We're the only ones that decide not, because listen, the reason they do that is because it makes you guys feel good. Oh, I looked at the image. It's not helpful unless it is a current photo. And even 6 months would be a stretch to look at a property. So what we're doing in the technology we're moving forward is on the property score side is if you had a satellite photo that could take photos of the property on a 90-day basis and do a comparison and analyze it. So what if you could see the history of a property over X amount of years? Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? Did they rehab the property or is it in terrible condition? And so a lot of times when you go to like Google Images, you look at a street view. What if you could look at a top view? You can look at the roof, you can look at the pool, you can look at everything in the backyard, and you could scan tens of thousands of properties doing it this way. Absolutely nuts. And guys, this is where we're going. We're going to do the seller score and we're going to do a property score. Now you're going to have two algorithms work in your favor and you can sort the data however you want. But guys, at the end of the day, you still have to do the work. And I'm telling you is, what if we could find distressed properties as they're becoming distressed instead of waiting till they're rotting on the market for years on end? I've always told you, whoever can get to the lead first in wholesaling and connect with the seller wins. So the idea of XLeads is to give you an upper advantage to beat everybody else in the market. And that's what we're going to do. Now, the key thing is I have to understand here is it's beta. So we're doing a lot of experimental stuff with this, and we are bringing the satellites, drones, everything, and it takes time. It's taken a tremendous amount of money for us to do this, and it will be phasing in the market over a 90 to 180-day period. So full disclosure, when we do our launch Monday, some of you won't have satellite imaging because it takes time. Here's the cool part. I'm not charging you anything extra for this. So just like how we give you Go High Level, most of you got to go out and pay $100 a month for that, is this data gets better with feedback from you guys. So we know it's not going to be perfect right off the bat, but we're doing what nobody else would do. And if I teach you wholesaling is about going out there, taking action, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, you have to understand that my phone's ringing off the hook. You have to understand. See, I lost my complete train of thought. I hate when people call me like in the middle of a live stream. You're going to have more speed to get to somebody than anybody else, in my opinion. But it's not going to do the calling for you. The idea is just get you to the leads faster so you can sort through and do more motivated leads. And I'm super excited about this. But guys, it's beta. It's not going to be perfect. You're not going to have an image for everything. We think it's going to take 3 to 4 months and we'll have just about every market penetrated. But don't call me and go, I don't have a image in North Dakota. Remember, an image is only one of the factors. And in my opinion, right now, all driving for dollars AI technology is, number one, you have to pay per hit. Now, I don't know about you, but I can't afford $2,000 a county. I mean, we would all go broke. So I think that's ridiculous. And me and Zach are going to give you guys an incredible offer that would be crazy if you did do it. And here's the key part is if you have XLeads, this is already built in for you. Now, I'm going to give you a little secret. If you buy an annual pro or a X plan annual, you're going to get the most benefit from it. But I'm even putting it in there for the basic. If you guys are part of our M2M group, we really give them like the most traction we can on it. But we want you to test it out. So even if you have a base account, you'll get one zip code and you can use this and you can play around with it. Now, I'm going to give you some disclosures on it. You have to designate your territory and then you can rotate it every 30 days. Why would a guy who sells software tell you that? Because it's the right thing to do. And if you're still trying to get your first deal, I don't want you to overcommit to this. But this is another tool in your arsenal to be a better wholesaler, to get more predictability data, You can comb and filter through more data quicker, faster than anybody else. And I'm just telling you, it's amazing. So the really cool part about how me and Zach are building XLeads is we build it as wholesalers. So we have a wish list. You should see our whiteboards that we do in the office. We ask for the world. And that's how we did XLeads. If I tell you I'm a master negotiator, then I have to bring you guys the best value. And this is the main reason why you guys use XLeads, because everybody else, they can't negotiate. They tell you they're really good at negotiating and telling you to do it. And they have great courses stuff, but they can't go out and negotiate the big deals. Or maybe they lack the capital to do it. So I have the capital, I have the skills, and I'll just keep swinging the bat at this because it's going to get crazy. So it's beta. We're going to test it out. I can't tell you, you have to have an XLeads account. Here's the hint. If you have an annual account, you get much more. And here's the last hint. I'm going to answer questions is, think about this. What if I gave you the ability not only to do your county or your state or do this technology nationwide? Very, very reasonable numbers, because right now you guys have to pay on average $2K per county, 3,300 counties. If I did that nationwide, let's just do a little bit of math here. 3,300 times 2,000. That would cost you $6.6 million to run that data. That's how you guys are being charged right now. And most of you are using apps and technology that relies on Google Images, and you're paying for it. I would never, it's a great idea if you had modern day technology. Now, here's the cool part. There's other satellites besides Google out there. Tesla uses them. We're accessing some of it's just amazing, some of the negotiations Zach's helped put together on this. Government satellites, Google ain't the only game in town. And the problem with Google is it's so unreliable when the picture was taken. So let me do this and let me answer some questions here and let's get through this. So it's exciting. So tune in Monday. But guys, listen, it's got to be beta. So don't sit there and beat me up because you're missing a picture. I've already told you what we're doing. You want real-time photos and like real deal like shots. This stuff costs money and it takes time. We're doing what nobody else is willing to do. Why does it take us to bring this to the forefront? Why? Because we're wholesalers first. We're software people second. Software people try to find ways to, they're trying to solve problems. Don't get me wrong. And guys, I love PropStream. It's just so general. Like it's so general for a wholesaler. It's kind of, it's good. I used it for a long time, and then there's other companies that really aren't founded by wholesalers. That's why they do solar. That's why they do all these other companies, because they're trying to make ends meet type of deal, because I don't know, maybe they're not committed to wholesalers. So let's answer some questions and let's go. I don't know if there's a UFC on tonight. So Mark, I appreciate it. I'm trying like hell to work. Tickets, ticket prices went up. It's like, my buddy's like, yeah, he goes, I know the seats you want, they're $25K each. I go, $25K with I get about $100,000 on a football game. I love my team, but dude, I can go buy I can go buy 2 mobile homes for that and pay me for the rest of my life. So I'm in a quandary here. Actually, I'd reach further for UFC than I would football. Just telling you, that's how it goes. So I had a question on here and we'll answer it. I don't think it's actually, was it first, when you start wholesale, how long you take to get the first deal using the information you have without CRM or AI? Honestly, if you apply yourself and go over to freewholesaling.com, which I'll put up here right now, I put it on the bottom and I apologize for not putting it on there. Go over there. It is a course me and my sons have created. It's 100% free, and it'll teach you how to get started with absolutely no money. You don't need a CRM and AI to get started. It is much harder, but if you're willing to put in the work and not like whine about it, you can easily get started on there. So I put that on the screen there, freewholesaling.com, and you can check out that whole thing. So awesome. Okay, let me go back. I see some new comments on here. Did you? Okay, you guys are talking among yourselves, so I love it. So Kyle, I want you to refer back to this video. I'm explaining the current technology. I mean, XLeads is so full of AI, it's ridiculous. I'm trying to show you where we're building the new platform. And by the way, guys, version 4 has like some wild changes in it too. Um, I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it for Monday because I don't want to get Zach's gonna kill me if he comes in the office, hears me talking about this. Um, awesome, I appreciate it. Let's see here. So on average, the time frame, because all our data is always pulled from county records, on average, it'll be 2 to 4 weeks. Like it's, I mean, you can never, if you can go to the courthouse and you want to pull it, you want to speed, I always tell you that'll be the best way to do it. But that's not a problem with it. So let me see what else I got here. I have no real estate experience, but I have a decade of sales experience in financials. Here's the biggest hurdle. This isn't about sales experience. It's about you showing up every day and doing the work and not trying to reinvent the wheel. So if you want to learn how to do it, go over to freewholesaling.com. Honestly, I prefer you not to have sales experience because the number one ability of a wholesaler is your ability to market. So guys, make sure you check things out. Make sure you go over to XLeads.com. I put it on the bottom here, XLeads.com. Make sure you get your account. We haven't talked about pricing change. I'm going to take care of everybody who's in. And if you have a XLeads account, you'll always be grandfathered in. So my suggestion is for you to do it. We have some exciting changes, especially with the Pro and X plan to make it more available to you guys. So that'll come out Monday. And we really, really appreciate you. So guys, listen, make sure to get more information about XLeads. Just subscribe to this account. Make sure you guys tune in for the January 12th. We have the XLeads launch. Version 4 is going to be really cool. We will have that at 5 p.m. Eastern time. We'll have it on the XLeads channel, the Flip with Rick channel, the Rick Ginn channel, and the Zach Ginn channel, and check it out. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. So get in there, guys. Get your XLeads account. Make sure you're set up. And guys, go out there, put in the work, and let's go get a wholesale deal. And we will, Zach will be on live tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll be on Monday, and then we'll be on Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. And then I will do my Monday evening stream from my channel.